All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. All right, so the Van Halen saga continues, and honestly, I'm getting tired of talking about it, and this could be my last video on this topic unless, something really goes crazy. But then again, when you've got David Lee Roth out there shooting his mouth off, saying things like, oh, Ed's culturally illiterate, that should help the whole Van Halen reunion idea. Yeah, that's just great. I think at this point, there are probably a lot of fans who don't want to see Dave as part of this reunion or tribute. I keep saying reunion, but it's a tribute. And then there are some people that don't care. They know David Lee Roth and they understand the behind the scenes crap that Roth has been involved with for a very long time. But according to Wolfgang Van Halen, the headline really is, it never even got off the ground. That's about the Van Halen tribute. Now, in this article, they call it a tour. They call it Van Halen Tour. And they go back to the whole Jason Newsted. Man, poor Jason Newsted, right? But he did spill the beans. This is what Wolfie says. I don't like to speak negatively about people, but there are some people that make it very difficult to do anything when it comes to Van Halen. We made an attempt, and some people can be hard to work with and made it not happen. So there you go. And who is he referring to? Well, he's not referring to Alex. He's not referring to Joe Satriani. I'm sure he's not referring to Michael Anthony. All of these people are ready to go. Alex basically controls things, and apparently he just didn't get the confirmation that he needed from David Lee Roth. That's my interpretation. Apparently the interview went in a certain direction, and they asked Wolfie, is there a singer with 3 initials who is to blame? And Wolf replied, I would say do your own research on the history of Van Halen and come to your own conclusions. Now, again, we're not supposed to be doing our own research. By the way, we were told a couple of years ago when, the thing started that you were supposed to keep quiet and don't do any of your own research. But in this case, I think it's okay to do your own research on Van Halen. I know from one interview specifically, right, where Ed is basically saying, look, Dave doesn't like me. We're not friends. He's into dance music. I'm not into dance music. That's why Dave was at this EDM concert a couple of years ago with some DJ who remixed Jump. And it became I don't know if it was an EDM classic or whatever, but apparently it was getting a lot of traction. And this is the kind of music that Roth is into. And this relates to the whole culturally illiterate because, Ed didn't expand his horizons beyond being one of the world's great guitar players, right? He didn't expand. No, he just reinvented the way you play guitar for some people. So, hey, that's culturally illiterate, right? No, like I said in the video I did the other day, Ed was the culture. He shaped culture. He made it go in different directions. How many guitar players did Eddie Van Halen inspire? Can I just conclude with this? It's so ridiculous that there hasn't been a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. How about, apart from Van Halen, how about you get a bunch of bands, right, who get together, or one guy from each band, and do some kind of all-star thing apart from the Van Halen crowd, and just go out there and do one big celebration. There's got to be, remember all the tributes that poured in after Ed passed away, and everybody said, hey, this guy inspired me to play guitar. This guy was the greatest musician I ever knew. I remember hearing what Steve Lukather said, for instance. These guys could get together. They could cobble together some kind of all-star band, much like what Ringo does, right? And, maybe not have Ringo be the band leader, but you could have somebody like that. It doesn't really matter. And just bang out some great songs and maybe tell some stories, have some people who knew Ed and who could relay these stories. And so there is something. And then, of course, do it maybe in the name of Mr. Holland's Opus charity or cancer research or something that would be more than just people showing up to pay tribute to Ed, which is important. But I think Ed would probably like the fact that, you know, his favorite charity was being honored or cancer research was happening in his name. So again, those are ideas. They're not great ideas. They're not anything groundbreaking. There are promoters out there. There are people who do this stuff for a living who could certainly come up with something. But I think maybe you need to put the whole Van Halen thing to bed, because I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, again, David Lee Roth said that he was in the midst of his first retirement, but he's still retired. He's not booking any shows, right? He's not doing anything on his own. So my guess is that this is kind of over. And the way Wolf addressed this in this interview, basically like a past tense, we tried, it failed, that's it, it's not going to happen. So yeah, unless anything groundbreaking happens in this situation, or David Lee Roth decides to insult somebody and do it in a real sort of, I mean, the guy's dead. Why are you saying this stuff about Eddie Van Halen? And so much for we were brothers and we were great. And no, apparently you weren't brothers, because it wasn't all the way to the end. It might have been in the good old days. But anyway, people, that's the video on the topic. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I know some people are mad that I have subscribers, so keep subscribing, okay? The way to get even with people is to, you know, get more subscribers. So we're going to keep going, right? We're going to persevere. And thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.